My name is Blair Boone-Magura, and I am the founder and executive director of the Art Song Preservation Society of New York. So welcome. Thank you for joining today for this special event. I'm just going to be frank right from the beginning. It's not the event that we originally envisaged on many levels. As you know, many of you here know, we typically do our festival in the spring, and it's under the project title Spring into Song. So we like to have a series of masterclass events, recitals, community outreach concerts, and all of that was kind of thrown into flux because of the coronavirus pandemic. And we had to postpone until now the fall. And this is not unfamiliar territory. You all know very well what it's like. You've been living through it yourselves as singers, as teachers, and even those outside of the arts. Everyone has been impacted by this, from losing work, losing jobs, not being able to attend performances. It's been a very difficult time. With that in mind, we have worked hard to make sure that we still present something because we think it's vital to continue to connect to audiences. And it's, quite frankly, for singers and pianists and for musicians, it's how we sustain ourselves. It's how we live, not only spiritually from the inside with the music, but that's how we eat. We have to pay our bills. So it was very important to us to still present an opportunity to the community, to the public. And we're so grateful to our donors and to our both the private as well as our donors that I'd like to recognize today, both administered by LMCC, the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council. We have grants that were received for our Spring into Song project from UMEZ, which is the Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone Development Program. And it's a program specifically focused on making sure that we can offer our programs to Upper Manhattan. And we typically present this at the Manhattan School of Music, which is in Morningside Heights in Manhattan, the Upper West Side of Manhattan. So doing it virtually is a new experience for us. So we do thank UMEZ for allowing us to still present this virtually and not from Upper West Side Manhattan. And then we also received a grant from the Creative Engagement grant that is also administered through LMCC. And so we would like to thank them as well. They're not as specifically focused on Upper West Side Manhattan, but again, the goal is to be able to present our programs to New Yorkers, to those of you who live in Manhattan. Or those of us who live in Manhattan. So we're so grateful for this opportunity to still be able to do this, even though it's virtually. Now, we're well past spring, so it's no longer going to be Spring into Song, and we're not doing it within a 2-week period as we usually do. It's going to be programs of master classes and recitals that start from today, September. This will be our first, and will run all through the rest of this year and into next year. So we're calling it a season of song. So get ready. Today will be the first, and we'll try to present 2 events each month at a minimum, both in September, October, November, and then we'll resume in January, February, March, and April for a season of song. So with that, we'll get started today with our program. We had intended to present a masterclass program by a reputed and renowned voice teacher and stage director, Andrea Beldeducci. And she was going to work on the area of Bel Canto, Italian diction, and vocal technique. Sadly, in the wee hours of the morning, I received a message from her daughter letting me know that she was very ill. She has a very high fever. So we're very concerned for her, and she will not be able to present today, regrettably, as had been planned. I did receive a text from Andrea, so she is lucid and able to communicate, but she does have a very high fever, and she sends her regrets and apologies. And I'm so sorry she's unable to join today as we had hoped. However, that said, I sprung into action this morning and was able to find a wonderful replacement who is going to work on the same area of Italian bel canto technique, Italian diction, and coach the coaching of this Italian art song and aria repertoire, and that is none other than pianist Mark Markham. Now, Mark Markham has his own vocal program in Sicily called Singing in Sicily, and so I'm going to allow him to also, or invite him rather, to discuss that, in addition to working with 3 singers that were selected to perform today. And so we will be rather informal, mostly because in this virtual experience, I just want to also set the fertile ground that should there a technical glitch arrive, please just bear with us. This is a first for us, and we're still learning. I imagine that by the end of the year, we're going to all be experts at how to navigate the virtual Zoom playground. But for today, this is the first, so we hope to have no technical glitches, or very few. With that, I'm going to pass the baton over to our invited guest artist today, Mark Markham, who is an extraordinary pianist who is versatile, has played concerts from classical to jazz. He also works in the area of chamber music. He gives both solo recitals with singers. He's given recitals in recent years with none other than singers like Jennifer O'Loughlin and Leah Crocetto, and of course Janae Bridges, who is kind of the name on everyone's lips this past season at the Metropolitan Opera as the kind of rising star. And of course, Mark Markham is very well known for his 20-year career with soprano Jessye Norman, the legendary soprano who passed away, sadly, this past October, September 30th, I believe. It will be coming up on the 1-year anniversary of her death and her passing. So perhaps Mark will also sprinkle a little anecdote or two of his time with the great soprano Jessye Norman during this hour. But of course, the focus will be on the 3 singers that will be singing for us today. So I'm going to ask each of them to just also, once Mark invites them to do so, to just introduce themselves by saying their name and the pieces that they have brought to perform. With that, thank you. Thanks again to our wonderful donors, and I'll pass the baton over to Mark Markham.
Thank you, Blair. Good afternoon, everybody. Can I hear? Is everyone muted, Blair? How does this work?
Oh, yes, great. Thank you. Everyone should be muted, and I'm sorry I didn't say.
If I say something, right.
With the exception of the singers, our first singer will be Perri Sussman today, so she can be unmuted. Everyone else, please remain muted during this time.
But if you feel like you have an important question or you're curious about something, I have no problem with you asking, okay? Unmute yourself and ask me, and that way we can try to keep it more real.
Yes, and we will also do a Q&A. And we'll also do a Q&A. So we invite the audience to also, don't hesitate. If you've got a question, you can message them to me or wait toward the end when Mark invites it to the audience to then participate. So we want to make this a virtual experience where everyone is involved.
Great. Thank you, Blair. So why don't we go ahead and start with music? We can talk later. I know you guys are sitting here. It's not fun just to sit around waiting to sing in a masterclass when it's real. So now when it's online, it's even stranger. So I'm guessing that Perri and Tomoko and Alonso, you've all have you had a lesson or coaching online? Yes or no? Yes, good. So you've seen how this works and how it can work. So we're just going to do the best we can with what we have. We'll start with Perri. And I see that you're singing, you've offered Caro mio ben and something, an aria, I think. And I would love to work on Caro mio ben.
Okay, wonderful. Let's just get set up here. Okay, if I stand like this, is this okay visually?
That's perfect.
Okay, let me get the music going. It's first time doing this, so. Just get the tape ready here.
And you guys, if you're singing with a recorded tape or something like that and it's not functioning well, don't worry about it. We'll just work like we normally would work, the way we have to work these days when we can't be in person, okay? We're here to discover this music and see how well we can work on it.
Okay.
All right. Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, you guys can clap. Great. Your singing is beautiful.
Thank you.
Truly, truly beautiful. This recorded thing, let's forget about it.
Yeah.
Because they're not listening to you, okay?
Yeah.
And that's what they need to be doing, is listening to you right now. So they're really kind of pushing you in a way that you don't want to go. And I like what you're doing. I like the tempo. I like the spirit of it. There are just a couple things with the Italian. And you guys, if you've worked on Italian before, Italian, yes, it's legato. And there are a lot of vowels in the language. But there are also these things known as consonants. And in order to make the legato, you can't ignore them. You can't try to run from them. You can't try to hide from them. You have to find a way to incorporate them so that they resonate as beautifully as your vowels do, because your vowels are really, really good. Mm-hmm. Just a couple of times when it's a little, I'll talk about that when there's a couple of them that get a little bit off. But for the most part, they really are beautiful. The legato is there. But sometimes I think you need to use the language more. Mm-hmm. Because we need to understand the spirit of the piece. Is it sad?
No.
Exactly. And that's what's so tricky about this thing, because it is slow, but slow doesn't mean sad.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And to try to find the way to find the energy that you need to use so that you can actually make it come to life. Because the person, you don't want to say they're begging, because begging is not attractive between two people. Mm-hmm. But they're pleading, there's something about it, but then there's got to be something positive, or this person is not attractive to that other person. Nobody wants to be bothered by someone who's unattractive, not physically, but just in how they deal with someone. You don't want to have a stalker on your hands here. You want, you know, they care. So let's deal with that first to find out where from you. What do you need to have inside before you breathe? Your breathing's lovely. Your phrasing is beautiful. The vowels are great. But the breath is the moment when that inspiration, the mental inspiration, takes life. We have our thought, we inhale, and out comes the sound. And sometimes I don't understand why you breathe. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you always understand why you breathe. And I get it, guys. We're all concerned with how we're doing things. We'd like it to work out nicely. We'd like to come up with a nice product. But what keeps it really stable and solid is to make sure that you understand why you're breathing. So when you address this person the first time, caro mio ben, credimi almen, senza di te languisce il cor. That there's something about it. It gets the other person's attention. Mm-hmm. This is one of these pieces where you're not alone.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You can play it that way if you want to, and sing to the stars or whatever in your dreams, and that could work too. But I think we need something more direct here. Your final consonant sometimes, the R is lovely. Be careful it's not rolled too much on a single cor. Be a little careful there. But the N, an N.
Yeah.
Everybody think about this, Tomoko and Alonso, that when you sing an N in Italian, the middle of your tongue, I let the middle of my tongue go to the hard palate area. That way I don't close down in the back, nor do I lift my tongue and do this to create all this tension and pull my larynx up and all that stuff. But I can make a lot of noise that way. Can you try that there? Just pick up, I don't care which note, but just Right, that you don't squeeze down in here. This grunting thing that sometimes happens, but you're not doing that at all. Sometimes you're just avoiding them.
Yeah.
And I want you to.
I think they're coming out, but they're probably not.
Right. And when we have to think about it, hopefully one day we will all be back in halls that have more than 12 people in them. And so we can, we have to be able to project into a space, not just our sound of vowels, but the sounds of words. The caro means something to you. Mio. That's a possessive. That's who this person is to them. That right there from you has to be, you have to have a reason for it. Say, hey, you, believe me. It's not that. But the final consonants, can you sing an N on this note for me? Pretend like you're going to sing a vowel, like an A vowel or whatever. Pretend. And then the N is going to come out and land in front of you. Not from in here, but right. The same way you would approach your vowel. Right? You don't pull your palate down. You don't pull your larynx up. You don't do those things to make a sound occur. You release things so that you have the space you need so you make a beautiful sound. The N can do the same thing when you have the word tanto, because tanto is tanto, rigo, tanto. You can really sing. Let's try there, tanto. Because the N will show you where the next syllable is. You understand?
Yes.
Ta 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 tanto rigor. If you were a straight theater person, and you have to project your voice, it's not about the volume. It's about a consistency of resonance that will actually allow you to travel constantly, because we're on stage because we're offering something, right?
Right.
And so for you to be able to offer versus, now I'm going to find the trickiest way that I can get around this stuff. And that's an option to some extent, but for me, it feels like it holds you back. And I want to feel you to offer something and to be generous about your offering.
Yes.
There's another word when you take a breath, a senza. Zzz. Can you sing a Z for me on this note? Zzz. Good. The same approach, this direction, up and over and land out there, but zzz, hear how it pulls here.
Yeah.
Right. That is where your S is going to be.
Uh-huh.
Your S cannot be lower than that. If not, you're going to scoop.
Yeah.
And when you scoop, then you lose your breath. You lose
Okay.
your air pressure because then you can't continue. You're beautifully talented and you've worked hard to put things together so you still can make it through. But every time I got drawn to when it kind of scooped into it a little bit.
Yeah.
And you can use that. Can you sing that phrase for me, Senza? Use the N also. Senza dite. Sing that whole phrase there. There you go. You understand?
Yes.
Even especially the beginnings of a phrase. If you have that type of senza, see if you can make the sound of an S without pushing the air out into the room.
Uh-huh.
You don't need to push air into the room, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Good for a final consonant or something. And do that, but then you don't have to sing afterwards. So, you know,
Right,
you must
so-
vocalize, then who cares at that point? But in this, it is all about the legato.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these consonants, like your first word, ka, ka. A K is something in English where we just love to, we love to do that in English. That seems to be the American way of saying things. And popping T's all the time. People who work with me hear me talk about popping T's constantly. It doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Not even in other languages. I think the Americans are the ones who've marketed that one for sure. But from the very beginning, can we try here? You know what your vowel is.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. I want to know why you're calling this my dear beloved, whatever. You're addressing them. If they have their back turned to you,
Mm-hmm.
how are you going to get them to turn around?
Mm-hmm.
You understand that? That's your whole project through the whole piece.
Yes.
Is to finally, by the end, get them to turn and look at you, and you realize I did melt their heart. I am sincere about this.
Mm-hmm.
This is not I'm not trying to trick them into anything.
Right.
And I would suggest that you think of going maybe I'm talking about a tiny, tiny bit faster.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Tiny, just tiny. So that there's sometimes it's vertical. Caro mio ben. You know, it's kind of like the bad conductor syndrome. When conductors start doing this, singers have no idea, where's my line? I have to keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
Put your vowel on the beat. Caro mio ben, credimi almen.
Yes.
Get the vowel on the beat. Then there's an urgency to it, even when it's slow.
Mm-hmm.
Because as well known as this song is, and as destroyed as it has been in the history of singing and music, et cetera, there's still something quite magical about it.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
you definitely have the voice to make that work.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's beautiful, truly.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to really think, who are you addressing? How would you say the K at the beginning? Caro. You listen to Italians speak, I swear to God, it sounds like they're singing on the street sometimes. And they're just talking to each other. Caro, caro. There's a different sense of vibrato.
Mm-hmm.
Expression of a vowel and what that vowel means for them.
Mm-hmm.
We all think as though it's a language made up of vowels. Yeah, it is, but it's because they give so much in those vowels. They release so much information without really telling you. It's all inside, which is what makes it beautiful. They don't have to hit you over the head.
Right.
So try the beginning here and see how that feels. It's beautiful, but I don't really feel at the beginning what your breath is trying to do. Do you have a backstory for you? Do you have a backstory for yourself on this as to why you're in this position?
Yes.
How did your life get there?
Yes.
Can you share a little bit of that with us?
Yeah, it's just telling my lover that in a tender way how much I need this person and that they're special to me and that without them I'm not complete.
And has there been a problem? Is there a problem right now?
No, I don't think so.
So wouldn't that telling someone, couldn't it be a little more upbeat?
Yeah.
If there hadn't been a problem, but let's imagine that there's been this person, a guy, girl, whoever, they feel that you've neglected them.
Ah, interesting. Okay. Yeah.
That you've been so busy with your career running around the world singing, and they've been sitting at home taking care of the dogs, and taking care of the house, and here you are, not there.
Okay.
And for them, they have started to feel neglected.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to have something that's, I don't think it's a breakup, far from it.
No. Mm-mm.
But
just reassurance.
Right, reassurance and also beguiling.
Yes.
So you need to get his attention or her attention so that they focus. And the sound that you make on that first word, you don't call everybody this way.
No.
And it kind of sounds that you might call everybody that way. Caro mio ben. No, I want to feel an urgency from you. Mm-hmm. Can we try it? Let's go twice as fast one time. Caro mio ben, with do a teenage version.
Okay.
Try a teenage version, a cherubino type thing, and see how that works, and see what comes out of it. Okay, give it a shot. Take a good time. Dam diam ba bam. How does that feel?
That feels less stuck.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, just like more that there's a momentum going.
Right, that you need to touch the person you want to touch with this message, which also includes a public.
Yes.
Now, we get up on stage to do things in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
Even though what we're talking about or playing about is focused on one person.
Mm-hmm.
They want to feel this human experience of communication, even if it's between you and somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
The one word, the syllable that I do not understand is mio.
Okay.
It kind of, caro mio ben.
Okay.
Mio ben. Think that you're going to take a little bit of time to make sure that eval is expressive.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. We really feel that this is yours.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking to someone who you really, really care about. Mm-hmm. Not just somebody at the bus stop.
Right.
Right? But keep the same quick tempo. Take the time you need. Stretch it out. I don't care.
Okay.
Sometimes, guys, it's very good to find out what something is not instead of trying to find out what something is. Then you actually end up at the end of the story finding out what it is. Mm-hmm. You can sing this angry as hell. Caro mio ben, credimi al men. Senza di te, stupid. And in Sicily, they probably would sing it that way sometimes. Mm-hmm. It would be very passionate. There wouldn't be anything evil about it, but it would be a way of getting someone's attention.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So.
We're doing with the quicker tempo again?
With the quicker tempo and unit, caro mio ben.
Yes. Okay.
Get their attention. Focus on them. Feel that whoever it is in the room. Mm-hmm. You don't have to look at the camera. You don't have to look at us.
Okay.
Find where they might be. This can be very, if I look at that little green dot all the time, I'll lose my mind. So I look at you guys. You've moved from over here, from over there across the screen. So let's try. I loved the beginning.
Okay.
Caro mio ben, credimi al men. You took the breath and it worked.
Yes.
But then when you came back on senza, se.
It's scooped. Okay.
Right. Land when you finish Caro mio ben, credimi al men, senza di te. And this, what is it? Languish. The sound sh in Italian. The sh, that sound. Americans have adapted it to be like when we say shh, trying to get people's attention across the room. But then we don't need any of that sound. The further south you go in Italy, they're pretty much languish.
Okay.
Dolce. There's no ch, and there's really not much of a sh. It's very gentle, but it's got to be where the sound zzz. Can you support that sound there for me, please? Right there on that note. Right, make sure it starts out in front of you and not down somewhere here.
Okay, yeah.
Let's move it to here. There's a little bit of a skip that wants to try to sing first.
Okay.
Find out where that sound is. All right, better.
Okay.
But it's got to be on that line. So when you get to languish,
yes.
You drop your line. And your air pressure then kind of goes and runs.
Okay.
And at the end without the control that you'd like to have. Languisce il core.
Languisce il cor.
Shale, right? There's an L at the end of that?
Yes.
Yes. Where is an L? How do you think about an L?
The tip of the tongue at the front of the back top teeth.
Could you do this for me? And let's do it on this note. Sing an N on that note for me one time. Right. Now I want you to put an L where that is. Go from N to the La.
Okay.
La. Put an L where the N is.
Okay.
You feel the difference?
Yes.
But when when we reach up like that sometimes, it pulls everybody else up with us. And you need to find out where the resonance is. But la, la, la. But hear what happens?
Yeah, those American L's, yeah.
Exactly. That's where the senza comes in. When that S, it kind of it reaches down. Langri, shale, il cor. I sing the N almost like the L like an N. We'll still understand you, but the other langri, shale.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Lan?
I'm sorry?
Lan, langri.
Languisce il cor.
Good. You're doing things wonderfully in each moment.
Okay.
Can you want it to travel away from you?
Let it travel away? Okay.
Let it travel away. You got to follow that journey as it goes.
Yes.
You're doing it. You understand what I mean? Energetically, you're doing it perfectly right with yourself.
Yeah.
You need it to fly.
But it needs a trajectory. Yeah.
Let it go.
No.
You pronounce things the way you need to, but don't stop to do it.
Yes. Languisce il cor.
Shale.
Shale cor.
Two vowels there. Shale. There's an E vowel at the end of that. I don't hear the E vowel at all.
Okay.
Stop on that E vowel one time.
Shale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And let the L be where the N is.
Mhm.
Not here. Then you'll have all you need at the end.
Okay.
Good. Can you get an E vowel in there at the end of she?
Okay.
Better.
Okay.
You have to, all these little sounds that are in there,
Yes.
they have to be part of the line.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And to find the simplest way, yes, in the moment, you know how to create things. You understand what I mean by that?
Yes.
Vowels are good, all this stuff, but to make sure that it travels, and that's where these consonants, you can use them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the middle section, il tuo fedele.
Okay.
Good. The translation of this, what does that mean to you? When it says cessa crudel tanto rigor.
All cruelty stops with your severity.
Right. Stop. Come on. Why are you being so tough about it?
Yeah.
He's refusing, whoever this person is refusing to accept what you're offering.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And that your job is in the song. When do they turn around and look at you?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you repeat, cessa crudel tanto rigor, cessa crudel tanto rigor, and then tanto, really? Tanto rigor. Why you treat me like this?
Yeah.
Come on, it's not that bad. Italians are not going to fight quietly,
No.
even if it's in slow motion. There's going to be a lot of passion with what's going on. Il tu. I need a good U vowel there.
Okay.
Try that there. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good, thank you. The onyor is a little on the slow side for me, the nya sound. Onyor. I get onyor. It sounds like it's doubled up or something.
Okay.
Is that intentional?
No.
Okay. Not about that, just to check, because sometimes you can be a little more dramatic and do that type of thing, but I don't think it works there.
No.
I get il tuo fedele. Il tuo fedele sospiro ognor.
Mm-hmm.
Go a little bit faster.
Okay.
But direct. You're trying to convince this person to turn around. Have you been in that situation before where you got... exactly. It's a lovely feeling when you walk in and you need to talk to somebody and you say hello and they don't turn around. You know, it's not a fun moment in life, but it's a moment that happens.
Yeah.
On a fairly regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
So here, and it's higher. So really, you need to let it travel towards them.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone up because it's, you know, the altitude here is, it's getting hot.
Yeah.
This is cessa crudel. Let's try.
Okay.
Good. Good.
Okay.
That felt much more engaged.
It did. Yeah. To me too. Yeah.
You guys feel the difference out there? Yes, everybody's sleeping. But that's what makes the difference.
Mm-hmm.
The T, il tu.
Mm-hmm.
You hear what I did?
Yeah.
Il tu. For me, sometimes I think of it in order to not get stuck on a consonant. I imagine there's a portamento from the note before.
Okay.
Il tuo fede.
Ah, okay.
You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to do a portamento.
Okay.
You sing a portamento, but you feel, what if I were to do a portamento there? You would keep your instrument open,
Mm-hmm.
right? You wouldn't close down to say a consonant.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you're closing down to say tu. Can we sing tu, 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 tu right there, please? It kind of sounds like
Okay.
We need an vowel. And don't work so hard at it. Trust yourself. You're a smart lady. I can tell. Trust it.
Okay.
Right. And what causes that to propel?
Having the T not swallowed.
Exactly. You feel that tu, tu, tu. It sends it into the room.
Mm-hmm.
From il tuo fedel. Imagine you portamento between all the notes.
Okay.
Go ahead. Good. This sound here for the ch.
Mm-hmm.
Can you sing j for me on that note? J. That's where the ch is going to be.
Okay.
No lower. No lower and no pushing air into the room.
Okay.
Cru, cru, cru.
Uh-huh.
And then you're ready for tanto.
Uh-huh. Tanto rigor, tanto rigor.
Good. Why does she say tanto rigor so much?
Because it means so much.
But what about it? What about it though? Because that doesn't belong to her.
No, it's the other person.
That's the other person's behavior towards them, that they're trying to get their attention. Let them know, don't treat me like this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh. And it doesn't mean it's going to be hysterical breakup. It's just, hey, and I can hear the easily.
Yeah.
But cessa crudel tanto rigor, cessa crudel tanto rigor. Tanto rigor. I wouldn't do the portamento thing up.
Okay.
I would just finish on this tanto rigor. And then nail him.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
With the most beautiful sound that you have.
Okay.
To get his attention, say, hey, has he turned around to look yet?
Yeah.
You have to know when that moment is. Because when you start harping on tanto rigor, there's a chance that he might not turn around.
Right. Uh-huh.
They're like, why you keep pushing me? Leave me alone.
Right.
But she cares.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Can we go from there? The cessa crudel.
Okay. Wasn't a pure ooh. Let's try that again. Okay.
Right, but so what are you saying there? Cessa is stop.
Stop. Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
The cessa crudel.
Mm-hmm.
Drive it with the words, not your voice, but with the words. Good. You sing incredibly well.
Thank you.
So I want you to believe that
Okay.
and take your chances at making a mistake
Of course, yeah.
and
That's how
sing
we learn.
and sing what you feel and sing what you. I know these situations they're about as awkward as it gets, even if we're together in the same space.
Yeah.
But you have a beautiful sound. But boy, when you hold that energy back towards you,
Mm-hmm.
it causes little pitch issues like
Okay.
tandori. Uh-oh.
I see.
Tandori. Tori, 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 tori. Can you sing that for me 3 times fast? Tori, tori, tori.
Tori, tori, tori.
Your R is pulling your voice backwards. It needs to make your voice go into the space.
I see. Okay.
Tori,
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 tori, tori.
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 Roll your R a lot on that same level.
Okay. Tori.
Your R cannot be lower
Okay.
than your vowels.
I see. Okay.
That's when we get this distance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes that can work to hit a consonant really low,
Mm-hmm.
but it's usually for dramatic purposes. And once we've cried wolf one time, we can't do it again. And everyone gets, they're expecting it every time. Tanto rigor. Can you say that for me, extending all the sounds?
Tanto rigor.
Better? Good. You stop to say the N. I need the N to travel to show you where the T is.
Okay.
Tanto. Tanto.
Tanto rigor.
Right. Thank you. Sing it that way. Sing it that way. Tanto rigor.
Tanto rigor. Tanto rigor.
Good. And take whatever time you want to take there.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Don't rush.
Okay.
I wouldn't rush. Your intention, if your intention is good, because you've just said some pretty tough things.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Come on, this is il tuo fedele sospiro ognor. Cessa crudel. Stop, cruel one, all this silliness.
Yeah.
Being so tough. Come on. Stop. And then she can cool down.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Start the Caro mio ben. Oh, come on. You know I love you. Why you act like this?
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you were to act it out more for yourself and trust your voice is beautiful. You sing really, really well. But if you are caught up in how you produce your sound, we will go right there with you.
Of course. Yeah.
And that's your business. Keep your business to yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing people will get up in with you guys. They'll drive you crazy
Mm-hmm.
and tell you, oh, yeah, do this, do that. Oh, you didn't do this. No, you trust, you find how can you say what you need to say. The tanto rigor. I'll give you something. This was a Jessye Norman thing from 1,000 years ago, but I found out about it from her teacher, Elizabeth Mannion, when I was in Aspen a long, long time ago. The g sound of a G. It has not helped anyone to sing well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Think of where the g is. It has no relationship to a vowel. If you put the G where a K is in your mouth,
Mm-hmm.
rigor, rigor, rigor. That's that way, because it pulls you down.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of your body's like, oh, how do I support this? She's got her throat doing all these things.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, you can feel that. Then it puts you at the end of the phrase, so it makes you run out of breath on that last note,
Mm-hmm.
or you don't feel comfortable.
Right.
Just think, rigor. You can practice singing rigor, rigor. I said two things that time.
Yeah.
But I feel a difference with the line. This is wonderful. Il tuo fedele sospiro ognor. Practice saying it into the room. If you can say it and mean it.
Yes.
With the voice you have. Have I been muted? No. Okay. All these lights is like a Las Vegas here sometimes.
Yeah.
And what was I saying? If you can say it into the room and feel it, you're a singer, so you sing.
Mm-hmm.
But if that thing is there, what you feel about text, boom. You come with the instrument that you have, and all it does is elevate it.
Mm-hmm.
You have a beautiful voice. Okay. I think we're going to stop there and move on to the next person. Do you have any questions?
I don't think so. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. If you stick around to the end, and if you have some questions, if you think of something by then, please ask.
Wonderful.
All right. Beautiful to hear you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love all this silent clapping. That's cute. I get to hear nothing. Blair, are you back on?
Yes, I muted myself too, just to prevent any echo or back noise that could. But I get your point. When we're all doing this and you don't hear anything, it is a little destabilizing. Our next singer is Alonso Jordan Lopez.
Okay. And Alfonso, you submitted Il mio bel foco, no?
No, I submitted Nel ridestarmi in Sornello.
Ah, okay. Let me just find out where this is. Ah, okay, great. On the score. And you have your own accompaniment there?
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay.
Okay. Nel ridestarmi?
What was that?
Nel ridestarmi okay?
That's fine. Whichever song you'd like to sing.
Okay. Get myself set up. Strano, adesso mi par bello il mondo e là dormivo ieri, quanto ho dormito e che sonno profondo. Anima mia, dov'eri? Dov'eri mentre come spugna in mare nei suoi meandri il core flusso e riflusso avea senza provare desideri oturar. Dov'eri, dov'eri, mentre la mia mente sorda si faceva di pensieri come armonica a cui non si dà corda. Anima mia, dov'eri?
Great. Beautiful, Alonso. Really. And after sitting there for the past 45 minutes, exactly, you survived, right? You're still alive. Okay. I want you to tell me, why do you think that introduction is the way it is? And then all of a sudden you come in a completely different world of harmony, saying the word strano.
So I think this obviously in ridestarmi, it's about this awakening, I think, and this whole first section, I think I like to envision, because of what I think of when I'm singing, I like to envision the complete opposite. So really this is like a new awakening. I found a purpose in my life when I'm singing. So before then it's like this really monotone and different world that I lived in before I woke up. And that's what I kind of envision.
Okay. Does the sound of the piano evoke anything, a certain thing in nature or emotion or?
Yeah, so it's so funny. I've had such a big, long journey with this song, and for a long time it was like water. Like water trickling or something like that. And the whole point of where my imagination takes me when that goes through or happens is it's this really one tone kind of world. So if it's water, it's just all blue and gray. Sometimes
is water, does that represent something positive, negative, happy, sad, disturbed, placid?
it's neutral. This song really calls to my like surreal imagination. I'm very like, I have this imagination that becomes very surreal, like Dali like paintings sometimes. And
Right.
so I think of it actually, okay, my journey has taken me somewhere else with this too. So when I was really young, I remember I was playing on the monkey bars and I fell off and I like was knocked unconscious. And when I woke up, all these people were around me. So it's like when I was in this state of unconsciousness, it's almost like that is what I was thinking of as well.
Before the song starts.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And how does it make the transition?
It's okay. So like right as
it's really strange to go from this.
Yeah, it's like the transition happens. It's like a split second right before that first strano, where I wake up and then I see everyone around me, or I see this new world with sunlight, and then I'm awake and I see things in a different perspective, in a happy perspective.
So would you say that the beginning is unhappy?
Yeah, I think that's where I kind of was at the beginning of this time.
Because for me, the introduction, there's it can be cloudy. You could call it that. The colors are more gray.
Yeah.
They're muted, you know, and then when you all of a sudden come in, I mean, it really is shocking. This. Like, where am I? Where am I? Where am I?
Mm-hmm.
But your observation of when you were young and that happened, and all of a sudden you wake up from something like that. As an adult, you can have that too. But the start music is almost like you're out of your, what's the word I want to, when someone is distracted and they're there talking, they're there with you talking, and you look over and they're going, and they're kind of frozen. They're locked in their world because they're thinking about something that happened.
Yeah.
And it traps them. It might only be for 5 seconds. It might even be less than that. And then all of a sudden, bing, someone says hello, and then they come back to the present.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because, you know, we all are just a collection of all these experiences that we have in life.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what it is. And how you deal with your experiences determines pretty much, that identifies who you are as a human being.
Yeah.
No one's going to care what prize you got, what you did this, how much money you made, but were they nice? Did they enjoy life? Did they share? Did they have a good time while they were here and respect other people? That pretty much is it at the end of the day. It's kind of boring when you think about it that way, but it's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you're kind of in your imagination of dreaming, and then all of a sudden, strano. It's just like, wow. Was everything yesterday was so, and now, wow. I would love more of that.
Okay.
And yes, that's after sitting down for 45 minutes and jumping up just to sing something like this. I wouldn't start a program with this piece. You probably don't either. It's something that takes more time to get into, but it does give you something to work, that you focus to figure out after we've heard all these harmonies. What's that last stuff?
Yeah.
It's magical. And I want something there to take over you that causes you to breathe that way versus landing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because I want to be able to connect to that world. If not, then why do we have an introduction?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
these crazy songs that exist in life that don't have introductions, which Mr. Strauss was notorious for doing sometimes and drive you crazy. He wouldn't write an introduction, then other times he'd write a page of an introduction.
Yeah.
Here you have a whole page. And that if you know how to follow that, it will tell you how to enter. Your singing is beautiful. Your voice is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You know, but that's wonderful. Check. Done. Just like Perri. Perri, all that's done? Check. Okay, don't question it. Work on what you want to say. That's what moves us forward as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
It's lovely to be a singer or a pianist, but honestly, there are too many people in those categories. But if you're an artist and you have something to say, then you move up and up and up and up and up, and that's a different experience. You want to share something, and there's a wonderful passion in your voice, which I really do admire and appreciate. You want to make sure that you stay with that. Okay? So it's going to be tricky. I don't want to go through the piano thing again but I want to find out if you can find something that has a different type of approach at the beginning.
Yeah.
That first phrase, and that you'll keep traveling, let it travel up the hill as if you're just, wow, where did this come from? The more wonder that you bring to it, imagine how we're going to feel.
Yeah.
Because if you think you see something in the air up in front of your head while you're singing, I promise you we're all going to be looking. What in the world? I want to see what he's seeing. That's the whole point, is to get the public to go with us. Okay, let's try it. Where you start.
Strano, ma adesso mi par bello il mondo.
Good. I want to try something with you that I worked with Perri. On that first note, can you please sing a Z for me? Z, z, z. You hear how it wants to start lower? You need to imagine that you're going to sing a vowel first, and that your teeth are coming together to make that Z sound, and that vowel is still existing. Right.
Yeah.
Anybody here study ballet or dance or anything like that before? No? You guys, the precision that it takes for these poor people to put their foot down on the floor in a certain way. It's like these little girls who do the gymnastics and they're on that little 4-inch wide balance beam. If you think about the precision it takes for them to put their foot down, much less jump around and twirl and do all sorts of things. We do pretty much the same stuff. You guys need to land where you want to land, not just short of it and then say, yeah, I can pull myself up. You know, you're out for a hike somewhere on the rocks and you decide I'm going to jump from here to there. Okay, fine, you jump. You need to know where you're going to land. Because if there's a hole between you and the place that you're going, you really don't want to land in the hole.
Yeah.
It's like watching cats, the way you can see their brains calculating the distance, and there they go and they land. But then the funniest videos we have on the internet are those of the cats who cannot judge distance and fall into the ravine in between them and their desired destination. This right here for you, you need to know where stra, that's going to take you to strano. But I hear a lot of snakes coming out into the room, which does not give me that word. The word strano is in the vowel. But the Z, the S has got to be where that Z is. If not, we're going to have all this air going, escaping. Which that really, you really don't need. It's like a violinist. They all of a sudden go to do an up bow and they go, and the bow, their arm just goes flying. But that's what happens when you get nervous when you're young and you're a string player. Your arm is racing across those strings sometimes. And you're like, why can't I slow down my bow? Same thing for you guys. See if you can find where that, sing a Z there.
Strano. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That your body will understand how to support. If there is too much stuff up here going on, trying to say things, if it's too hard or if it's too loose and the air escapes, then the rest of your body, which should be supporting this for you, is like, what am I supposed to do? Why am I here? We're on break. He's doing it all up here from the neck up. Let him have it. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the body works that way. And then one day it just decides, oh, we don't have to work anymore. We're on permanent break. See if you can start the phrase. What's the dynamic marking without looking at it?
Piano.
Piano, exactly.
Yeah.
Piano, ma adesso. Believe all of that. Your ideas are wonderful. Your voice is spectacular. Believe it. See what comes out.
Strano.
Your ST stopped you.
Yes.
You feel that?
Yeah.
Do you guys hear that? Perri, Tomoko, you hear that?
Yeah.
Hey, Stra.
Strano.
Good. What's your vowel? What's your first vowel? Know it. Don't do it. Know it.
Okay.
You guys know how to sing. I believe you.
Strano.
Good. Tell me this, Alonso. How far does your mouth have to be open so you can say an A vowel?
Not very far.
Right.
Yeah, for that range too. Yeah.
Exactly. You know all that. Right. So this sing za one time for me. Sustain the Z and then go to an A vowel. See how close they are.
Za. Stra.
Right.
Yeah.
It's in the color of the vowel, which happens because of how you take your breath.
Yeah.
If you're trying to make us hear strano, the moment you make a sound, then all you are is a singer in that moment. There's nothing wrong with being a singer, but you're not a storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're worried about the moment sound comes out. What's more interesting is what happens before that sound. And I know you have that in you because you've already talked about the song. You've thought about this and thought about it and thought about it. So you're inspired. Make sure that the silence during the whole introduction, right now without it, just the 3 seconds before that. Wow. I led myself to wow. So when it came out, I wasn't surprised. I knew it was coming that way because I felt something.
Strano, ma adesso mi par bello il mondo e l'aborrivo ieri.
Good, good. You feel a difference?
Yeah. There's a little more glide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it is this whole piano thing. It is gliding. It's like a swan. Ravel wrote music like this in L'Histoire Naturelle. He uses the same type of coloring in the piano to help support you. I want us to work on the stuff that I worked on with Perri, that the M, ma adesso, ma adesso, not ma adesso. You hear what happens? It pulls everybody up and you're like fighting against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Ma adesso mi par. No explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And even the double S of ma adesso, you don't have to spray us with air.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll have the strength you need to sing mondo, because that's hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
After you've been doing, and then all of a sudden he goes,
Yeah.
and brings you back down into the low part of your voice. If you don't have the air pressure ready to be able to sing that, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the phrase after that, I really lose you, even if it's low.
Yeah.
You have sound in that part of your voice.
Mm-hmm.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Can we try that second part? Elaborivo ieri. Right there. I need to make this a little bigger. There we go.
Elaborivo ieri.
There you go. Imagine that your consonants and vowels are really next to each other. And they're traveling out. Their story is traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Elaborivo ieri.
Elabori.
Elaborivo ieri.
Much better.
Yeah.
You feel the difference?
Yes, I do.
Make sure that you sing bor. Elabor before you close to those R's. If not, you don't get to, your voice doesn't spin then.
Mm-hmm.
You need that voice to keep traveling into the room.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So sing mondo for me.
Mondo.
Okay, where's that M gonna be?
Right here, but no.
Here's a little story for you. There are 3 people that come to mind who speak this way. One of them is President Bill Clinton. I want you to watch my mouth carefully. When he said my name to me, oh, Mark Markham. Mark Markham. You see, my lips don't touch. Take an N and find where your M is. With the middle of your tongue, not the tip, the middle of your tongue for an N. Ma. Right. Mondo, same thing. N to M.
Mondo.
That's scooped. Sing the N.
Mondo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because then you can get the end of mondo.
Yeah.
Without strangling yourself. It's resonating. It's part of your voice.
Uh-huh.
It's part of all these crazy noises we all make. Come on, there are thousands of different ways to do all this stuff if we have an imagination. So when you start this thing, now you know what mondo feels like, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to sing it that way even when it's at the end of the phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Sing mondo one more time the way you want to, and then we're going to go back to ma adesso.
Mondo.
Can you sustain the N just a little bit so you feel where it is? Don't go far away from the vowels. If you drop that jaw down, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Mondo.
Ma adesso.
Adesso mi par bello il mondo.
Right.
Elaborivo ieri.
Right.
Yeah.
Our job is to create the path for us to be able to tell our story.
Mm-hmm.
If you put the vowel here right in front of you, but the consonant's over in aisle 4, and you got to run over there to get an S, but then you got to run back over to aisle 6 to get an N, You spend your entire time doing this when the story is supposed to be traveling straight out into the room.
Mm-hmm.
You finish mondo, mondo, ella. Like you're all of a sudden going to start trying to sing big. Stay where you were.
Mm-hmm.
You need to understand where ends are all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you avoid them, then we don't understand the words. That was much, much better. Now your next entrance here, this is quanto. What's the dynamic marking?
Piano. Pianissimo.
Pianissimo. Pianissimo.
Pianissimo.
Doesn't mean it has to be super quiet. It just means it's a different feeling.
Yeah.
And this right there, quando dormito.
Quanto dormito e che sonno profondo.
I love the first part of the phrase.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. When you got down lower, you got very busy.
Okay.
And I mean busy physically in a way that is not really helping you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your voice is happy when you sing high.
Yeah, it is.
Yep, you guys, you love it when you get up in the high stuff, and I understand that it's a great sensation. But when it gets down low, then also blah, 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 because it's accessible. Sing. I hear all this S. Think of where a Z is. That's where your S is. It's that high. It's not in the jaw.
E che sonno profondo.
Good. How legato can you sing that? I get a e che sonno. E che sonno profondo.
E che sonno profondo.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You feel the difference?
I do.
Sometimes just saying the words
Yeah.
is very, very powerful. Versus getting down there, trying to do something.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to try.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to be with it so that you got to get from A to K. That's already, that K is like, take me, hit me really hard, hit me hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then sonno. Sing sonno one time.
Sonno.
Right, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
You feel the difference?
Yeah. There's a little
Everything that we say has to have us behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Consonants are not just little annoying, things that are in the room. You don't need to spend a lot of time with them, not unless it really is going to help you.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, it's best, let's use them and move on.
Mm-hmm.
Let them feel that they're really important, but don't linger. There's no need to linger with them. Going ahead, anima mia, I love this phrase.
Anima mia, dove eri, mentre come spugna in mare, nei suoi meandri il core, flusso e riflusso avea, senza Yeah.
How's that feel?
Yeah, better. I was trying to apply the things.
But you did.
Yeah.
You hear the difference?
Yes, I do.
It's really the sound. Your sound then is more stable.
Mm-hmm.
The vibrato is more consistent. Because guys, when vibrato changes, it alerts us. It makes us pay attention. What was that? What does he want to say? What does she want to do? What is that? What does that mean? In Baroque music, when you use straight tone, sometimes it's usually for a word. It paints colors. If the only way you can sing it is with a funny vibrato, then look out. Then it probably isn't a great choice. You got all the paint colors in front of you. Choose the one you want.
Mm-hmm.
Be very specific in your imagination, not, well, it's kind of blue.
Okay.
There are many shades of blue.
Mm-hmm.
Many, 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 many shades. The one question I have for you here, the first part was beautiful. And then the doveri, that's great, doveri. Mentre come spu. The S's are where the Z is.
Mm-hmm.
It will prevent you from pushing air out, but it will also, so spoon, no. Spoon, yeah. Can we try there? Mentre.
Mentre come spugna in mar.
You're using an S to stop come. Mentre come spugna. Hear what I did? Come.
Yeah.
Think if you're going to portamento to the next word, to spugna.
Okay.
Imagine there's a portamento.
Mentre come spugna in mare, nei suoi meandri il core, flusso e riflusso avea, senza provare desideri o dolor.
You remember what you did the first time on dolor at the end?
It was still, it was like a louder volume than I would have wanted to.
Well, you put a little crescendo there the first time at the very end.
I have a tendency to put a pulse there, like to finalize that or something. But
Exactly. Let it evaporate into the air. It's a question.
yeah,
It's beautiful. But you feel the difference?
yeah.
Pay attention when you drop down at the desideri. Where's that next note? Sing desideri.
Desideri o dolor.
Right. Just because it changes registers,
Yeah.
too bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what we have to tell ourselves. Too bad. You still have to call the line because your voice will do that.
Yeah.
That G is not that low for you. Yeah, it's nicer when you got to sing up higher because your voice resonates differently. But don't, the first time you reached for it.
Yeah.
And then you made the ascent to the D harder because the T, da, ba, ba, ba. It's really E to the D. But he makes you, he gives you a little detour to go down to the G to try to get back up. It's beautiful. Let's go ahead. Pay attention here when it plunges down below. Can you sing a V for me on this note, please? You hear how I guessed the pitch at the beginning?
Okay.
There's a squeeze there before. And a buzz right here. Right, with no junk before it. You know what I mean by junk?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when this thing sings, oh, try that interval, or let's do both of them.
Doveri, doveri.
Right, but you can't use the V on the high note.
Yeah.
Imagine you're gonna portamento down. Doveri.
Yeah.
Doveri, doveri. Men.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I see. Okay.
That way there's a line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We don't get to make up how we do this as we go along. That is only for emergency circumstances. And let me tell you, if you do it that way often enough, it will take your special energy from you to where then all you'll know is to have anxiety all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There are enough things about this job that are hard enough. We do not need to practice anxiety in how we tell our stories.
Yeah.
You got to find the simplest root. Do, very, do, very. Then it works. Now this mantra, how are you going to come back in? Sing an N there and find your M at that altitude. Land right where you want to land, way out in front of you. That's where the M is.
Yeah. Mentre la mia mente sorda, sorda, yeah.
One more time. It's very good.
Mentre la mia mente sorda si facea di pensieri come armonica a cui non si d'accordo, anima me.
Good. So this chord, you need to pronounce, there's a portamento coming down.
Okay.
This chord.
Yeah.
It's too hard.
Yeah.
If you pretend there's a portamento, you won't close your throat to sing the rd.
Okay.
Okay, right there into that phrase. I'm not getting this thing to work right. There we go. A cui.
A cui non si d'accordo, anima mia, dove eri? And then, do you want me?
The rest of it's the same.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that was so much better. Thank
It's
you.
beautiful. It's gorgeous. But this is what I mean about it. It's like, come on, if you have to, you guys don't even understand what maps are because your generation has never seen what a map looked like. These books that we would have in cars.
I was born in the 80s.
Thank you. Well, you might have seen one or two and they were probably antiques at that point. But I mean, even now, you just take your phone, put in an address and it tells you where to go. You don't pay attention as to where things are going. You don't have to chart it because it charts it for you. When you're working on music, our job is to connect the best we can to the music.
Mm-hmm.
So your path, how you're going to travel along that journey, you can't have consonants over here and a vowel over there. You guys work very hard to get your vowels lined up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's great. That's a wonderful thing, but words are made up of all sorts of things. And then feelings have to be part of that, how you feel about those words, how you feel about the sentences. And you have wonderful ideas about this. You need to make sure that when your ideas are going through you, that you feel that you're keeping the path as simple as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Then when it goes high, nobody would ever know that's a high A.
Yeah.
Nobody would ever know. And well, that's a wonderful thing because really no one needs to know about your business.
Yeah.
They can go look at the score afterwards and he sang a high A. That didn't sound that high.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Beautiful job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's beautiful. Really. Thank you.
Thank you.
Blair, I'm going to let you talk for a second here. I need just a little break. I'll be right back.
No problem. Yes, this is thank you first of all to the singers who are participating today. I'm so thrilled to have talent. I'm not sure, just for those of you who aren't aware, I'll explain a little bit about the process of how we selected the singers for today. And in general, we have a period of search where we invite singers to audition. Prior to the virus, there were live auditions held at the Manhattan School of Music, and we also auditioned singers virtually, not virtually, but through an online submission. And then we have a review board consisting of several members of the advisory board, guest artists with international reputations, and they review the singers who are interested in singing in the master classes and the recital program. When we had the sudden upheaval of the pandemic, that obviously changed the dynamics of both the events themselves, that were now going to be presented virtually, but it also impacted the singers who were going to be participating, because many of whom found that they had made time in the spring to be a part of this festival, but they had conflicts that arose. Some had to travel back to schools or certain cities, certain destinations that were not in Manhattan. And while they could have still sung virtually, there were other inhibiting factors. So we were very happy to be able to secure the 3 singers that are presenting today. We were thrilled that they decided to put their talents on display in front of the public. It's not easy, and the singers are the first to agree to this. It's not easy to work in this type of intense setting and environment in front of the public. So thank you.
You guys are doing a great job.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful job, Alonso and Perri, and now we'll have one more singer, Tomoko. But before Tomoko sings, I thought maybe this might be also a good time if Mark might want to describe, or at least talk a little bit about his program in Sicily. Is this what you're doing in Sicily, Mark, when you work with singers?
Singing in Sicily, I founded 4 or 5 years ago, and I invite, it's a nonprofit foundation. I can invite 4 singers. You come for 10 days in Sicily to this 12th century village on top of a hill overlooking the Mediterranean. You live in a wonderful house. You know, it's a great setting, but you have sessions every day. You have an hour with me or another guest person, whoever comes, whoever I invite, and you have an hour privately with them every day, and then you have a masterclass every afternoon. And it goes on for 10 days, and you get 1 day off, and then we do a recital at the end of it all. Mm-hmm. So we're talking intensive work, and if it's something that you're interested in, you know, Blair can definitely let you know how to find Mark Markham Pianist at gmail.com. That's stupidly simple. So if you want to find me there, but it's something that I felt was very important, because I've watched how singers, they get pushed into doing things, and it starts building up, and then they're doing something else, and they're doing something else. And I said, well, when do you have time to work on things? Yeah. You have to be able to prepare things, and you have to do this type of work like what we're doing today. You know, you guys are going to have to go with it and add more to what we've worked on. But the precision of how you're building something, that is what's crucial right now. That you understand how to build what it is that you're doing. Then you can then things move forward, and people actually have an idea as to, oh, that's what he wanted to say, or that's what she was talking about. Not, oh, they can sing. Be closer. And you'll hear me say it over and over again. Of course you can sing. That's why you're here. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to assume first that you sing. Do some people sing better than others? Yes. Do some people express differently or more, exuberantly than others? Yes. We're all very different, but the point is to find out what's your thing, what's your journey, how does it work for you, and to find the best way possible. And that's what we do there for 10 days. I didn't get to go this summer because of lovely coronavirus. So hopefully next summer I'll get to do 2 sessions of it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that the program was delayed due to the virus.
People are going to get coachings this fall who were supposed to have come. They'll have private coachings with me this fall. So
and it's good to see that with your program in Sicily, it all culminates. You're doing this focused work, but it still all culminates in an artistic full recital, and that's important. And that's what we're doing similarly with our festival. While for any of you who are watching today that are new, this masterclass represents a piece to a puzzle, and we have other masterclasses in other niche areas of this niche classical area of singing, but we still have a recital as well. So this is just to give you kind of a glimpse at what happens on in terms of putting together an actual recital, so that you can see both sides of the coin. There is going to be a recital this season as well, and Mark Markham will be a part of that too. Okay, let's move on to our last singer. She can present herself, and this singer actually has a pianist there with her, not an accompaniment.
Oh.
So Mark, I'm going to ask you to assist her with maybe if it's too loud.
Okay.
Hi, Naoko-san, I'd like to introduce my wonderful pianist, Naoko Aita. I really appreciate her coming, so I'm happy.
Well, happy to have you. Thank you. So we're doing Il mio bel foco, no?
Yes, and also Svegliate nel cuore.
Okay, we'll see if we have time. Well, I like the songs I like to work on more.
Okay.
Okay, let's try.
Okay.
Il mio bel fuoco, lontano vicino, esser possio, senza cangiar mai sempre, per voi care pupille, arderà sempre. Quella fiamma che m'accende, quella fiamma che m'accende, piace tanto all'alma mia, piace tanto all'alma mia, che giammai si estinguerà, si estinguerà, si estinguerà. Piace tanto all'alma mia che giammai si estinguerà, si estinguerà, che giammai si estinguerà, si estinguerà, si estinguerà. E se il fato a voi mi rendeva di arder mio versore, altra luce la non vuole, ne morir giammai potrà, ne morir giammai potrà, ne morir giammai potrà, giammai potrà, ne morir giammai potrà. Quella fiamma che m'accende, piace tanto all'alma mia, piace tanto all'alma mia, che giammai si estinguerà, si estinguerà, si estinguerà. Piace tanto all'alma mia che giammai si estinguerà, si estinguerà, che giammai si estinguerà, si estinguerà, si estinguerà. Quella fiamma giammai, giammai si estinguerà.
Correct. I can hear everybody well, so we're fine with the piano,
Okay, good.
and I can hear you. I would love, first of all, Tomoko, you have a beautiful voice. I love the color of your voice, the sound, everything, the expression. But sometimes the vowel is one place and the consonant is somewhere else, and we need to find out a way to get everybody to work together.
Okay.
So I know you've had to wait the longest, waiting to sing, and that's not always fun. But let's work on just basic little, the sounds of certain consonants so that you trust them. Because sometimes you let consonants stop where you're going.
Right.
They need to help you go where you're going. They need to be encouraged to be part of the vocal, the vowel expression. And not to, like, you keep running into something or tripping over something. You don't have to.
Okay.
Okay? It'll make it more precise. Italian is a language that is literally right here in the front. It is very clean. It is very crisp. It's not, there's nothing lazy or relaxed about it. It's incredibly precise. Incredibly so. And so the more precise you can be with the sounds that you make, then it'll help you.
Okay.
Okay? On this note right here, could you just sing an N for me with the middle of your tongue? Huh? No junk before the sound note. Hear what I did? Reaching up to it. Right. That sound you need to be able to support the same way you would support your vowel.
Okay.
So, but if we squeeze, I mean, that pulls up phlegm, it pulls up all sorts of stuff, it pulls my palate down, it chokes me. But take the N and go to an E vowel, please. E. E. Right. Make sure you get to an E vowel, not I.
Okay. E.
E. E. E. E. E.
E.
Better. Can you do that without listening to yourself?
Okay.
Don't listen. E. E.
E.
Right. E, exactly. Can the camera tilt just a little bit, or be a little bit higher so I can see you, because I'm only seeing half your face when you're standing there. Perfect. Thank you. What is it?
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay?
Yeah.
So, let's sing this first phrase. Figure out where that E starts. Don't go backwards. Good. So, an F. We can't do that because you won't have any focus to the vowel that follows it. Can you sing a V for me on that note? Find the simplest way to do it without squeezing down here. Right, you feel at the beginning how it does this, trying to find the pitch. Right, now put the V there. Put the F there. Foco. Right.
Yes.
You understand this? Il mio bel fo, but fo.
Okay.
Fo. It's flat. The sound goes like this to the sides.
Right.
Pretend like you're going to portamento down to the low note. Il mio bel, and know where it is. Go ahead. Right, right. K. Keep the air in your mouth.
Okay.
Don't push. K.
Okay.
K. Good. Can you sing a Z for me here? Without this. That's where your S is. Ai tempo. Mai sempre.
mai sempre per voi cari pupille tornerà sempre.
Mm-hmm. Can you find a way to sing to the end of that phrase without having too different of sound between the two registers?
Okay,
I love the color of your voice down there, but it sounds too different.
okay.
Good. What's the second vowel? Ar. What's the next one? You don't sing that vowel at all.
No.
You sing there's a lot of air, but no vowel. Good. Better. So I'm going to try to show you. I get ard, der, where you anticipate the consonants. Arde, arde, rase. Arde, rase. Sometimes Italian singers, when they use portamento, they forget to take it out sometimes. But they're using it so that they keep singing legato all the time. Ardera sempre. Think there's a portamento between all those notes so you don't anticipate a consonant. You understand what I mean by that? Mm-hmm. So this see what I did? Sempre. Sempre. It's right here. Sempre. You need to make the M ring and have resonance like the vowels do.
Sempre.
With your throat, yeah, and your throat stays open.
Right.
Sempre.
Sempre.
Right. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because without that, your voice starts doing this. It goes this way.
Okay.
If everyone is sitting on the sides of the theater, that's fine. But since most everyone sits out in front of you, you need to make sure that the sound is going out into the room and not to the sides.
Okay.
Okay? Now, quella fiamma che m'accende. Say that for me, sustaining all the sounds.
Quella fiamma che m'accende.
Can you do that without your jaw?
Quella fiamma che m'accende.
Right, it needs to travel. Perri, this is a good example for you here, that she's doing things well, right in her own space, energetically, but it needs to travel. Quella fiamma che. Hear how it has to extend, and this is the way people speak. Quella fiamma, fiamma, la fiamma.
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 Right. Quella.
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 Right. The consonants are quick.
I see.
Yours kind of gets slow.
Right.
But you're Japanese, right?
Yes.
That should help you tremendously with singing in Italian. Because your language is so built on these perfect vowels and consonants, and it's very crisp and clear when it's spoken well. Italian is the same thing.
Okay.
Right? Quella fiamma che m'accende.
Quella fiamma fiamma che m'accende.
Che m'accende, che m'accende.
Che m'accende.
Right. Che m'accende.
Che m'accende.
Right. You need to sing that sound. Then this little, I mean, it's a dance. Quella fiamma che m'accende. Right? You want people to start moving while you sing. That they feel, wow, this is a wonderful dance. Try it one time by yourself.
Quella fiamma che m'accende.
That's better. Do you feel how you stop yourself along the way trying to pronounce things? Quella fiamma.
Okay. Quella fiamma che m'accende.
Right. Your vowels need to be pure, just like they are in Japanese. A is A. Right?
Yes.
And if you sing A, quella fiamma, it's like, oh, no, 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 no. Quella fiamma che m'accende. That's the way the brain has to work. Ding, 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 ding. And each vowel is clean. Then your voice gets more beautiful.
Okay.
It's like moving your voice. If you're on the stage and they tell you, this is your spot, and you walk out on the stage that night and you say, that's my spot, I can see the little X, but the light is focused 3 feet to your right. Are you going to move over into the light, or are you just going to stand there in the dark? You move over and you stand in the light to make sure that you look the best. When you sing, the cleaner it is, the more beautiful your voice gets, and there's more light in the sound. Okay? Think of that when it starts.
Quella fiamma che m'accende. Quella fiamma che m'accende. Piace tanto all'alma mia. Piace tanto all'alma mia.
Good, 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 good. Thank you, thank you. The beginning's much better.
Thank you.
Record yourself and listen to your vowels.
Okay.
Be very picky with yourself. Don't wait for somebody else to tell you that your A vowel is not clean.
Okay.
Quella fiamma. Now this piace, piace tanto, tanto. I hear tato.
Tanto.
That N has to be sung.
Okay.
Piace tanto, tanto all'alma mia.
Piace tanto all'alma mia.
Good. Again, keep traveling through. Pronounce everything but travel.
Piace tanto all'alma mia.
Good. Do it one more time and use your brain and not your mouth.
Piace tanto all'alma mia.
Good. You feel the difference?
Yeah.
We all have to figure out what are we using in order to make it work. If you use your mouth too much, it just holds all the sound next to you. And nobody is sitting right here. People are out in front of you. Really sing it the way you just, oh, what's happening? Sorry. Uh-oh.
Piace tanto all'alma mia. Piace tanto all'alma mia. Che già mai si estinguerà, si estinguerà, si estinguerà.
Blair?
Yeah.
Blair?
Yes.
I've lost you. I don't know. They were not supposed to be able to interrupt me, but somebody called and made everything go off, and I'm trying to figure out how to get back in.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I could even hear the singing. I'm trying to figure out back to meeting. There we go. Thank you. Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
I'm so modern. So, sorry about that. We have to go back to Piace tanto.
Piace tanto all'alma mia.
Uh-huh. Can you stop on the N? Piace tan. Right, because the N is going to show you where the T is. Tanto, tanto. Right, it keeps moving.
Okay.
Uh-huh. The first one.
Piace canto all'alma mia, piace canto all'alma mia, che giammai s'estinguerà, s'estinguerà, s'estinguerà.
Good, good. Now I'm going to bother you with your S's.
Okay.
Just like I bothered poor Perri and Alonso. An S is something that comes up all the time, and an S, you can spend so much of your air on it.
Yes.
And it does not help you then.
Okay.
If air is escaping, when you try to make an S and all this noise comes out, it doesn't, the vowel Z, you've lost your breath.
Okay.
So you need to make sure that this ke jamai, jamai, que jamais se extinguirá. Double M, jamais.
Jamais.
Uh-huh. Ja.
Jamais.
Can you do that without your mouth?
Jamais.
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 Right. Que jamais se extingue.
S'estinguerà.
Sestis, hear what I'm doing? Sesti, se extinguerá.
S'estinguerà.
Exactly. Jamais is an old word. Nobody uses that word anymore in Italian. It's an old word. Say never. I, of course, in Italy, I use it all the time and they laugh at me because I take it from all these old songs and all the operas. Jamais! And they all laugh. But you have to use that here, okay? Jamais se extinguerá. Good. So you get to say it 3 times, right? Almost 3 times. Let's say se extinguerá is 3 times, right? Que jamais se extinguerá. That's where I lose you. Que jamais se extinguerá is great, and then se extinguerá.
Okay.
And that way we can keep it up.
Piace tanto all'alma mia che giammai s'estinguerà, che giammai s'estinguerà.
So much better.
Oh, thank you.
You feel the difference?
Yes.
Precision.
Yeah.
To how you say things. You're very expressive. It's beautiful. It's very musical. But sometimes that distracts you from precision. And we have to have both.
Yes.
You know, you can't separate technique and music. They're all the same thing. Music is first. Technique is the simplest way for you to do it. But when you say extinguerá, and right here, sing a Z for me here. Z. Is your throat open? Right? That's from below. Up and over. That's where se extinguerá. Right. You feel a difference?
Yes.
Did you hear a difference out there, everybody? Oh, Grace is clapping. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you.
But it se extinguerá. I get
Great.
You have to keep focused. You get to the high note and get excited and then forget, oh my God, I have to come down.
Okay.
You know, going upstairs is really not too bad, though everyone thinks it's bad. Going down the steps is when people get in trouble.
Right.
No one ever fell up the stairs. People fall down the stairs. So you need to know when there's ra, si, so. Right. But you want to use down here. Right. Can we try one more time? Oh. Where's the R? Where would you describe? Where's the R coming? Same line. Right. You can make all those other sounds, you know, but if we just make nice little sounds here and there, they don't work together. And our job is to get them to all work together. So I'm exaggerating. But that could be a moment, maybe that could work for certain circumstances. I don't think so, especially in this song. So let's go ahead to this middle section. Legato, legato, legato. Follow the phrase, the way you say it. Good, good. I'm gonna pick at your S. Just because that note fell, and then you had to work hard to sing the rest of the phrase. E se il fatto a voi mi rende.
E se fatto a voi mi rende.
E se il fatto. Perri, here's that favorite moment you had of eight coming together.
E il fatto a voi mi rende.
Uh-huh. E se il fatto a voi.
E se il fatto a voi
Mi rende.
mi rende.
Good. Can you sing that? Just like that. Legato. Don't start below. On the note.
E se il fatto a voi mi rende vaghi del mio versore, altra luce là non vode, ne voler giammai potrà, ne voler giammai potrà.
Good. So when you drop down low, your low voice is beautiful.
Thank you.
Why don't you sing legato?
Oh, okay.
Giammai potrà. Land where you want to land. Ne voler?
Ne voler giammai potrà,
Is that a double T? Is that a potrà? Is that what you want?
Potrà.
Potrà? Double T? One T.
One T, one T.
One T. But this, sing an N for me here. That's where your first note begins.
ne voler giammai potrà, ne voler giammai potrà.
Good. A consonant that's tricky in this language, also in English, j, ja, ja, ja.
Ja.
Z. You need to think of where z buzzes.
Z.
You heard it's nervous.
Yeah.
Ne voler mai potrà.
Voler giammai potrà.
Good. One more time. Start the N on the first note.
Ne voler giammai potrà.
Right. Go ahead.
Ne voler.
Where's the N? Where's the N? You sing. Ne. Ne voler.
Ne voler giammai potrà, giammai potrà, ne voler giammai potrà.
Good. You understand the difference.
Yes.
Alonso, you see when she sings with her mouth open, in the bottom of her voice, your voice becomes fuzzy. And it does not project into the room. But it looks like you're working really hard. And all this is going, and we're like, well, there seems like there should be a lot of sound. And there's not enough resonance. Always check the resonance to make sure that everything you sing is actually resonating. When you start,
Voler giammai potrà.
right. Much better. Great job.
Thank you.
We're going to stop there. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys had, let's turn everybody on and let me see who has questions.
Yes, yes.
Wish I could
Feel
see
free
everybody.
to unmute yourselves. I'm going, let's see. I think now would be a good time. We do have some questions coming in, Mark, so I'm going to let, first of all, I want to thank you singers because you did a wonderful job today.
Great job.
Absolutely wonderful. So I remind you everyone so you can get a full responsive clap. So yes, I just hit unmute all. So if anyone would like to unmute to be able to ask a question, definitely feel free. We're going to start with Mark because I did get a question in. Let's see, who shall begin? Our first question comes from Elizabeth. Elizabeth, would you like to ask your question? Let's see.
Everyone is muted again.
I hit
Okay.
unmute all, so hopefully there we go.
I unmuted myself, if that's okay.
Okay,
I'll put myself on video to make it a little bit more real.
thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I loved what you said about leading with the word and having an intention that will, direct how you get through a song. With songs that are more complicated, like Alonso's, you said, you need to start with a dramatic intention. And when we are approaching those kinds of songs, I wanted to know, is it best to approach it with a dramatic intention and apply that to the words, or start from the words and create a story from there?
I think that a composer chose a certain set of words, a poem, because he or she was inspired by those words. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to think of what the composer felt, and then you hear their music and you think, oh, wow, that's what they thought there. That's what I feel that they felt there. You try to walk in their shoes to understand what it is. You're always going to come up with your own because we're all individuals. But if you just try to start singing something and thinking, oh, it's dramatic, it's going to be more melodramatic, which does not serve anybody. You have to have a feeling about poetry. The more that you feel comfortable in a language, the better you'll breathe. If you really don't know what you're saying and it's kind of approximate, then you will breathe approximately. You will express yourself in an approximative way. That's a word. To find out, why am I singing? I've done this job for 51 years. It's after a while you think, wow, I still like it, because I have to go back every day and say, why am I doing this with a piece of music? And I see something, wow, I've known that piece for 30 years. I've never seen that before. I didn't remember seeing that. I haven't felt that. But you know, you read a book when you're 15 years old and you read it when you're 30, you have a different reaction to it. You see a movie when you're 20 and you see it when you're 40, you're like, oh my God, I don't remember that at all. But you probably saw it, it didn't mean anything to you then, because your life experience changes and evolves just like music does. That's why it's still here. It was here before we got here. It will be here when we are left. Even if, when we're all gone, even if there are no concerts, the music will still be here.
Great.
So.
Great, thank you.
Did that help?
Yes. Yeah.
Great. Anybody else? Oh, and now everybody's shy.
Yeah, that was a great question, Elizabeth. Thank you. But everyone else, please don't be shy. And singers, if there's a question, you know, don't hesitate to let us know. Mark, maybe until we get another question, you can also talk a little bit about what your plans are for a class that you'll be giving. For those of you who don't know, Mark was already scheduled to give a class for us, and he stepped in on because obviously we had the emergency situation with Andrea Del Giudice, who was ill this morning. But Mark will be giving a class, and it's actually not the same class as he gave today, so he can talk a little bit about that too.
Well, it's more open repertoire, and hopefully everybody will have a pianist there so that I can work and set it up to where I can work with both of them. You know, it takes more, come on, we're all learning new things now about how to set up a microphone, how to have an Ethernet cable, how to have lighting, all these different things, which I have been focused on playing the piano and coaching and learning all my languages all these years. And now I have to all of a sudden become a techno wizard after this point in my life, which does not interest me. But if this is the way we're going to work and to help everybody, then this is what we do. And it's, I mean, I'll work with these singers on all different repertoire. I've asked them to give me 2 different songs, contrasting songs. I don't care which languages they're in, you know, and I'll choose which one I'd like to work on, because it's best to work on one thing and focus than try to, you know, we're not here to try to run through repertoire. I'm trying to give you, you know, show you habits and how to practice, because when you think of it, we spend 90% of our time practicing and very little of our time, honestly, on the stage performing. Mm-hmm. If your practicing is great, then getting onto the stage will be very, very easy, because God knows there are enough distractions before you walk onto a stage. I don't care what level you work at, which hall it's in, from the very best to the smallest little place in the world, there's always going to be something crazy that happens. Yeah. And if you get on stage and don't do your job well, and you say, oh, but no, they really don't care. Your job was to get on the stage and do your job. So you have to figure out how to prepare. And this way, if you prepare and you do your work and you understand every one of these little sounds, you have to imagine, all 3 of you, that what if you had to get up and sing in front of Italians? How would you feel? I remember the first time I played a recital with a German, a native German from Germany, who came to Washington, D.C., and they put us together. That was a very different experience, doing Schubert and Hugo Wolf. A very different world. Tomoko, you speak Japanese. Alonso, you speak Spanish too? Yes? And Perri, do you speak any other languages?
I'm a little conversational in French, a little rusty, but yeah.
Right. You know, and if you had to get up in front of people who speak that language fluently, and that is their mother tongue, and you're singing in it, to me, I would really be worried about my language, to make sure that I'm saying it and pronouncing it and understanding it to the very best of my ability. Yeah. That's just part of what we do. Yeah, we all want to know, okay, I can play the piano or you can sing. You have to make your conscious decision one day that, okay, I understand what I'm doing. Yes, okay, fine. I still need to coach. I can still go take a lesson, but I pretty much know what I'm doing. You know how to sing. And the more that you have a reason to sing, you'll sing better. But without a reason, look out. Especially voices, they all start going in every direction possible. You get into your middle voice and it's convenient to start chewing up on the words, right? You sing up in the high voice, you'll never mess up your high voice because you're going to really let the consonants go. But you get down in the middle, it's well, then you eat up your voice. And then you don't have any support in your middle voice. And then pretty soon the high voice starts getting a little funny, and then you become afraid of your high voice. And then the high voice starts to wobble. It's like, oops, okay. It's all a vicious little psychological game. But, pay attention, do your work. Then it works.
And that class that Mark will be teaching will be on October the 10th. So stay tuned. You can check back to our website or where you typically engage with us, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, and just to have more information. Let's see, our next question comes from, and I can unmute you if you'd like to ask it or tweak it yourself, or I can just read it out. And this is from Valerie Roosevelt. Would you like to unmute, or I can ask the question on your behalf? You just let me know. I guess I'll read it, and then if you'd like to unmute and add to it, that would be fine. But it says, I see that you'll be performing with Miss Bryce Davis this coming spring. Do you also give notes to an established artist?
I work with all different people around the world. And sometimes they send me their final dress rehearsals of an opera. They send me their Sitzprobe. They send videos of something. And this is, you guys really can't hear yourselves. You know what you want to do, but sometimes you can't hear yourself and you don't have people there in the hall that can help you. Or just to say, hey, this is just a little bit off. And that's the type of work. I mean, that to me is what this is all about. The maintenance of this job is a whole lot harder than actually getting there. Everyone thinks it's very hard to have a career, to get to the career. Well, let me tell you, to maintain it for many years, that's the work. Because when they start pushing behind you, telling you, do this, do this, do this, do this, you don't have enough time to do your work. So.
Yeah, and I certainly don't want to interpret the question for the person who asked it, but I just want to make clear to everyone listening that Mark, and as does many of the teachers that will be giving master classes, they work with singers from every level. So we have singers who take our festival program and sing for these master classes that are at the beginner level. We actually also have singers at the other extreme who are quite advanced. And I know that Mark works with singers who are singing on opera stages all over the world, and they still make time to continue to work on their craft behind the scenes with teachers like Mark on the diction, on the musicality, on technical aspects. So that doesn't stop just because you may have gotten a great contract at an opera house. It really doesn't stop. The training does not stop. These singers continue, the good ones, the smart ones, continue to work with teachers and musicians like Mark Markham.
Anybody else? Before I go and cook dinner? My partner looks like a disaster, and I had people coming for dinner tonight when Blair said, could you do this? I thought, why not? And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I got to hear you guys. Tomoko, Alonso, Perri, really. You guys did a great job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you to the singers. Thank you to all of you who were able to Zoom in today, and a special thanks to Mark Markham, who stepped in literally just an hour, maybe an hour and a half maximum before.
Well, I was in the kitchen in an apron, and I saw the message and went, oh wow, okay. Why not? I'll take a shower.
Well, thank you. Thank you all. I look forward to seeing you at our next event, which is 2 weeks from today. It'll be in the area of German art song, German lieder. And that will be taught by pianist and vocal coach Thomas Morocco, who is actually on faculty at the Manhattan School of Music. We have a new group of singers there who will perform, and that repertoire will be all German and Austrian. And then we'll, again, as I said, in October, on the 10th, we'll have Mark Markham back to teach a class on refinement and collaboration of this repertoire. Thank you all. You can visit us on our website. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and I'll see you at the next Art Song Preservation Society event. Have a next good weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.